Hey everybody, welcome back to the Bourbon Note. I'm Greg.
I'm Ben.
And today, we're drinking bourbon. No, whiskey. No, rye.
A little bit of everything today.
Today, we're drinking a flight. All right, Ben. I was recently in the Florida
Yeah, sure.
where I saw a box, and the box is over there. And it had these 3 little bottles in it. I've seen Heaven's Door around and local liquor stores, but I've never picked it up.
Sure.
It is a celebrity whiskey, and we've had kind of mixed experiences with. I mean, the Metallica was good.
Yeah.
Some of the others are okay. This is probably good whiskey, but I've just never picked it up. But anyway, I saw
It's Bob Dylan.
It's Bob Dylan. He lives not too far away.
A Minnesota boy that did well. So, we got to give these a shot here and just...
Exactly.
Ooh. These bottles are so small that it's kind of hard to... I feel like I was going to drop it when I was opening it. So, what we have here is this is straight bourbon, correct?
This is straight bourbon. It says distilled in Tennessee.
Right.
So it does not, well, I won't make a state-to-state mistake.
Right. So, yeah, first one, straight bourbon. The second one is a double barrel, but it says it's a blend of 3 unique whiskeys. And it doesn't state what kind of whiskeys they are and what makes them whiskey versus bourbon or versus rye.
So we don't know what this is gonna be.
So we have no idea what the blend is, but then apparently it has...
aged for a second year in a second barrel.
Or for an extra year. We don't know the exact
yeah.
amount of aging.
And the last one here is a rye, distilled in Indiana. We have a guess where that came from?
Sure. But these should all be pretty unique to one, from one another, I think.
Yeah.
92 proof?
92 proof?
100 proof and 92 proof.
Well, no, the double is the 100.
Oh, which one did I point? Oh, you had the rye in your hand. Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect. Let me probably get this out of here. All right. So
I'm starting with the regular Tennessee bourbon.
Ooh, that's got a different nose to it.
Give it a minute. Not getting a lot so far other than maybe graham cracker.
Yeah, it's got that. Sometimes the graham cracker comes along with the youthful.
Oh, you think so?
Sometimes, yeah. Or on a toasted barrel. Now this is a toasted barrel finish, the second one, but it doesn't say anything about this one being a toasted barrel finish.
Right. Yeah, graham cracker.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I'm getting so far.
And I'm a fan of graham crackers.
Well, yeah, they're awesome.
But yeah, I mean, there's maybe a little light heat to it.
I don't know. I'm not getting anything else, so I'm gonna go for it.
All right, cheers.
Liquid graham cracker. With a little bit of spice, peppery spice, but it's subtle. Wood spice.
There's kind of a lingering tannic note to it.
It's dry. It has a wood spice dryness.
Mm-hmm.
But what's weird though is there's also a nice little bit of sweetness, but not very sweet. Just subtle sweetness. This is a good, well-balanced couple of flavors. It's not crazy. It doesn't have a ton of kick. It's subtle.
I feel like this one has that kind of, and I don't think assuming it's not especially long aged, otherwise they would probably state that.
Probably.
But it has a bit of that, like what some people might consider to be like an overly tannic, kind of a little bit of bitterness to it. It's like oak and graham cracker are the main things I'm getting. I'm getting a little bit of that light heat that I've gotten from other ones that are wheaters that are a little bit younger or crafty. Now, I don't know if this is a wheater or not.
I think they'd call that out, but yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting, but
I would say at this point, it tastes like a very nice bourbon, but there's nothing really unique about it so far. And I'll revisit again after I get through the flight.
Definitely don't have a problem with it.
No, yeah, there's nothing like off-putting about it. Like
there's a slight bitterness though that I could maybe see some people not.
And I definitely, and I hate to go there already, but at 108 proof or whatever, this could be really a lot more interesting.
Yeah, I suppose. But I wonder if that tannic note would be overpowering at 108 proof. That could be one where the proof actually would throw it out of balance, maybe.
Potentially, yeah.
I'm gonna get a little water here for this second one.
Why not?
Since these are all completely different.
We're assuming. All right, double oak, essentially.
Well, this is 3 unique whiskeys.
3 unique whiskeys. They're not, maybe there's some bourbon in here, but this could be, who knows? All the acorns.
Oh, this one definitely has like that s'mores vibe to it.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm not getting the sweetness.
Like a roasted marshmallow. And chocolate. Still has a bit of that graham cracker.
The graham cracker, it would be it's knocking at the door.
Yeah.
Maybe milk chocolate.
Yeah, I'm definitely getting, so I know that s'mores is kind of a note that's associated with toasted barrel, and maybe that could be influencing me, but I feel like I've had enough bourbons where it's like, if that's not there, I don't think I'm gonna,
Yeah. All right,
I don't think I'm gonna be influenced to get it as much as I'm getting it, because it's really, there's definitely something there. Whoa.
You sure whoa is the right?
It's weird.
It's like there's not a lot there.
Yeah, there's no bite to this at all. It's like rounded out.
So I have a description. It's a very bad description because it doesn't apply perfectly.
Welcome to the bourbon note. That's kind of what we do.
But it's almost like chocolate milk. Like there's no bite, there's no kick, there's just subtle flavor.
There's a texture to it it's round. Does that make sense? Like, that's the reason I said wow is because I know this one's at 100 proof.
Yeah.
And it's just like, it was like drinking something that was, I don't know, it was smooth in texture.
It's oily.
Yeah.
But it doesn't.
Kind of very different.
It doesn't bring a lot of flavor. Like, the flavors it has are somewhat traditional bourbon. And they're very good. Like, I don't dislike it at all. But when you drink it, it's almost like you're waiting for the flavor to get there. Like,
I got a little bit more kick on the back.
Yeah.
The
some of that's the ethanol. The 100 proof finally comes through.
Yeah.
But it mostly
that first sip was super rounded out. Like, there just wasn't.
Yeah.
Like you said, you're waiting for it to kick a little bit, and it just kind of didn't. But there's decent flavor, but they're very different flavors. Like, I'm really getting that. The s'mores is the only thing. I feel like there's a little bit of youth too, but it has that extra year in a toast. It's at a year.
Additional, yeah.
If you just gave me this blind, I might assume that this is just a younger craft whiskey, and I don't know if I would have picked up on, besides the s'mores note that I would maybe associate with a toasted barrel.
Yeah. I don't think I would have called this a double oak. In fact, I'm sitting here right now not calling this a double oak because I don't.
I'm having a hard time with this one.
I don't hate it at all. Like, it's really nice flavors. It just doesn't seem to match the description. 100 proof, yeah, maybe on the end I finally get a little bit of the burn.
Yeah.
But double oaked, 3 different whiskeys.
I'm losing some of the s'mores.
Yeah, it's
on the nose.
It's chocolatey, but it's really light.
And then it's leaving me with more graham crackers. I wonder if maybe the same bourbon that they made is mixed in with this.
I would guess that that's a part of it. Like, I like it. It just.
It's a difficult one to describe.
It is.
I gotta have a little more of this, but I'm trying to save some for the blend.
Well, luckily we have bottles.
It's like every sip I take, I'm getting something different.
Yeah.
The first one was kind of weak. Second 2 had a little more kick on the finish. That one was kind of weak.
So I'm guessing this is also in here, but maybe I'm totally wrong.
Yeah, it could be, because it just says 3 whiskeys.
Yeah.
So yeah, maybe it's both of these and then something else.
Yeah, who knows?
So yeah, the palate on this one is, it's not bad. I don't find it offensive. I don't find it off-putting.
It's just like you expect more flavor than what you're getting.
Yeah, and for the couple of sips that I had that maybe just hit right, you know, sometimes a bourbon, the way you swallow it and the way it hits the back of your throat, or sometimes the top, the roof of your mouth, like I like to kind of let it sit at the front of my tongue for a minute, and then when I wash it back, let it kind of hit the roof of your mouth, and that'll help bring that kick out, at least it does for me.
I've got it. This is both oily and watery.
At the same time?
At the same time. And it's like, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, and the flavors, like, I don't really know, like, get a little bit of the graham cracker. There's a little bit of heat on this one again, like a little, maybe some spice, some cinnamon. But it's a very difficult one to describe. I wonder what a bottle of this on its own would cost. Because this one walks the line of like, okay, you gotta price this appropriately.
So this set was 40, and so
okay.
I remember the price of the individual Evan stores.
Okay.
It's $7.50s, but all right, I'm gonna go to the rye and see if Indiana can help out some of the Tennessee contributions.
All right. Wow, very rye forward.
Grassy, grainy.
It's rye forward, but it's
also caramel forward. Like I'm getting some.
There is some sweetness here. So with the few ryes that we've done on the channel recently have been ones that are low. They're like 51% rye.
And a lot of corn.
Yeah,
so they're like a high rye bourbon.
Yeah, they're close to that. They flirt with those bourbon notes. I had a rye this weekend that did not. It was basically just, it was rye and that's all it was. It was just.
And they are so different.
Yeah.
And some are good. But
I'm getting definitely a heavy rye on this one. But there's some sweetness that kind of balances it out a little bit. A little bit of vanilla.
I keep looking for the black licorice, but I haven't got it yet.
Yeah.
I'm expecting that.
I'm getting it a little bit, but there is like that sweetness. A lot of times like the sweetness that I get on a rye comes through in like a bit of a vanilla if it's gonna lean into that bourbon category of sweetness.
Definitely vanilla forward.
All right, let's give her a whirl here. Cheers.
Vanilla. Call that one on the head.
It's vanilla and rye.
Vanilla and rye.
I find that really nice, actually.
I do too. I think it's not. I think it's the most balanced out of all three of these.
Yeah, I do too, for sure.
It's got very nice flavors, nice level of sweetness, nice level of ethanol kick that's appropriate for the 92 proof. This is a nice bourbon, or it's a nice whiskey.
Nice rye.
Yeah.
It has, it's kind of basic in the sense that there's not a ton going on, but what it has is just nice.
It's nice.
It's not overwhelming rye.
So we don't have enough experience to say this, but this drinks to me like a down the middle rye.
Yes.
Even though I don't know what that is, but.
Well, in comparison to like some of the ones we've had that are way higher on that rye content than the ones that we've just talked about that are on that 51% mark. And so they still pull a lot of those bourbon sweetness flavors out, and that balances the rye spice. This one, I feel like maybe there's a bit more rye in it, but it still isn't overwhelming to a non-professional rye reviewer. Where I think that even if you like rye, this may be a little, with the lower proof, it's not overwhelming in flavor, but yeah, like you said, I think I would consider this was what I would probably think like a down the middle rye would be like.
So I just took another sip of this. I actually really, really like this. And I feel that this is a great example. This is what I've been looking for the past few months of whiskey or rye reviews. What's a good, whenever you're not in the mood for bourbon, and that doesn't happen very often, I'll be honest.
Sure.
But this is a good example because it's close to bourbon, but it's just different enough, but not so different that you're in the totally different category.
And it's far enough out that, like when we're dipping our toes into the rye pool with just 51% rye, it's just barely a rye. I mean, it's a high rye compared to like even a high rye bourbon, but it's it's rye for a bourbon lover, I think, when
Yep.
you're at that point.
Yep.
So it's nice to find one that's maybe not just overwhelming all rye. It's not like the Matthew McConaughey. All rye, all rye, all rye.
You had to go there.
I did. But yeah, it's really nice. I would say I almost maybe like this the best out of the
I
three of them.
absolutely like that the best.
In summary, these have kind of been hard ones to describe because they are a little different.
They are.
And it's not necessarily a bad thing.
Nope, not
You
at all.
know, it's a price point. I think I would say like I wouldn't have a problem just sipping through a pour of this at any time. It's
Oh, no, not
of
at all.
any of these.
None of these are off-putting or
Yeah.
throw them across the bar bad.
They're just different. They're kind of hard to pin down, and that's a good thing for people like us that like to really explore different whiskeys and stuff like that. I poured a little bit more of this double barrel. Ooh, hang on. Oh, you already blended it?
Yeah.
Interesting. The nose on that double barrel really changed.
Oh, wow.
Going to it from the rye. All right.
So we call this, for our new viewers, this is called the Benny Walker Special. Ben decided whenever we do a flight, he saves a little bit.
You have to.
And he blends them.
Then
And
you go with the
sometimes our
blend.
crazy flights have nothing to do with each other. These happen to be at least from the same bottler.
But they're all so different. I mean, they're from the same
They're-
company, but they're all, I mean, it's a rye, it's a bourbon, it's
yeah,
a
they're
toasted,
totally different. Yeah.
you know. And with, you combine all the proof points, we're at like,
281 proof.
yeah, there you go. Again, that's how math works here in the Bourbon Note. And for the most part, our blends have turned out, they've been really good, actually. We've had a couple that were
had
just
a
like,
couple- Yeah, one of them, like a decent bourbon and a bad bourbon, made the decent bourbon worse. But
and I think we had one that was two good bourbons, and the two of them just killed each other.
But often the blend is freaking amazing.
Yeah.
So, all right, I'm gonna.
So experiment with blends at home.
That's right. And bourbon. You know, I
know what
like
to
it.
do with that.
I like it. So I think the rye, it's a rye forward bourbon.
I was going
at
to
this
say the
point.
rye stands out.
It is very rye forward as a bourbon, but it brings some of the bourbon sweetness that I absolutely love. This guy, I'm not sure he's playing in this game. He's not contributing a lot. And I kind of felt that way when we did the original review. Not getting a lot from this one. This is a utility infielder that he rides the bench a lot, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, this is a very confusing whiskey to me.
It is.
It really is.
The
And even in the
bourbon's-
blend, yeah.
Bourbon's good and adds some really nice bourbon sweetness to the rye, creating a really nice high rye bourbon, I guess is what I've essentially made at this point.
Yeah.
It's really, really good. I like it a lot. But I genuinely am gonna buy a 750 of this
Sure.
because I like the fact that it's a little bit different from the traditional. So this one I like. I'm gonna revisit this in about a week, and this one, just to see if my opinion changes. But a little bit uncomfortable with them. Like, I mean, they're not horrible. I mean, they're certainly more than willing to have a sip of them.
Oh,
but-
yeah. Like, if I had a bottle of this on my
Yeah,
shelf, I could
totally.
easily drink my way
Yeah.
through it. As I tend to say on ones that are like, yeah, it's maybe not my favorite, but there's nothing off-putting. There's nothing... Like, sometimes you have a bad bourbon, it's just nasty. Like, I don't even want to... I have to put
It's
this
going
in
straight
something.
to the mixer
Yeah.
shelf. Yeah.
Yeah, these are not that.
No, no.
But would I pay, $50, $60 for a bottle? No, probably not.
This one, I'm going to do an evaluation based on the price, but I don't know what it costs for $750. But this one I actually like.
Yeah.
And that I think that may be the first time we've done a rye review where I genuinely come away liking it. I really did like that Wild Turkey Rare Breed.
Yeah, we
rye.
love that.
But that was really a high rye bourbon.
Kind of, yeah. I mean, it was
I
close.
It was close. I mean, the mash bill was kind of...
Whenever it's just the 51%
Yeah.
rye, it rides that high rye bourbon
Yeah.
thing because
Yeah.
it's just barely a rye, and of course it's not a bourbon. 'Cause it's not 51%
legally.
corn, but
Yep.
yeah, you're getting definitely the kind of best of both worlds with a rye like that. But yeah, this one dips the toes a little further into the rye flavor profile, I think.
Agreed.
And yeah, it's good. So I'd be interested in seeing what this is on the shelf in a $7.50 for price-wise.
Totally.
The other two are decent, but if I'm at the store and I want to spend $60 on a bottle, I think there's a lot that I'm going to buy before I would.
There's a couple in line.
Yeah.
I kind of
Even
agree.
stuff that I haven't had before that
totally.
I just think, well, I'd rather try this than buy that. But then if I wanted something for like just a good sipper, there's definitely other ones I would buy first.
Totally agree.
All right, well, this has been a bunch of Heaven's Door whiskeys, bourbon, whiskey, rye. On the Bourbon Note, I'm Ben.
I'm Greg. Thanks for watching. Hey, share this video with a friend or an enemy. Cheers.